Hey. Am I popping? Oh yeah, I am popping. Too much popping though. Here we go. Life. I wonder. What takes me on? I can't go under. Weed in the street without cops harassing. Imagine going to court with no trial. Lifestyle cruising blue Bahama waters. No welfare supporters. More conscious of the way we raise our daughters.
Hey. Ladies. Listen, I am usually I like to get dressed up for the show, not today. But today it's Toronto versus everybody. Okay?
The people in the back.
This is game 4. Okay? I thought we were done. Game 3. But that shot, though. First of all, that pass, though. Do you understand Kyle had to pass a ball by a man who was 7'5"? Kyle is 6 foot on a good day. Okay, that man is probably 5'10". Okay, so on a good day he's 6 foot, and he had to pass that perfect pass over to OG with 0.5, just enough for him to touch the ball and release it. That shot and pass, though.
In 5
Let me tell
seconds.
you know, again, I truly do believe that there are prayer groups out there that are doing some intercessory prayer for the Raptors, because
someone's praying for the Raptors.
Somebody is intervening with God.
Jesus was just like,
someone is burning incense for them. Someone
Jesus was like,
rolling in tongues for the Raptors. I don't know what is going on, but
God just said yes. And you see, that's a lesson right there. You think that you're out, but you ain't done. Don't count nobody out yet.
Don't count anybody out. I mean, the Raptors prove it.
Don't count anybody out yet.
Yeah.
This is why I never even count myself out. I'm always like, until it's done, it's never done. It's not done. It's not done, right? Until it's done, it's never done. And to see such an incredible basketball moment for us, because I had an olive oil bottle in my hand the play before when Gasol left his man, and we know what happened. Okay, I had to put the olive, because I was gonna throw the olive oil button, and I said a bottle, and I was like, you know what? Okay, listen. I was like, the Raptors have a timeout left. They can advance the ball to their court. They have enough for a pass and shoot. Yeah. That is it. Pass and shoot. You cannot put it on the floor. You need to pass and shoot. Right. Now, my issue was when I saw that Kyle was inbounding the ball. I was like, so who gonna shoot? I know who's gonna pass, but who's gonna shoot? So that moment of OG catching that ball, shooting it, and he was just cool as a cucumber. Like he said, okay, we got this. And he was walking away.
That's right. And this listen, when you know. You know.
You know.
You know
to tell you anything else.
When you know. And he knew. OG won.
OG won. Yo.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, as I like to call him.
He Kenobi'd.
That was the moment. So this is why today I said, you know what? I got to represent. So I'm wearing my Toronto versus everybody shirt, because right now we are Toronto versus everybody. No one thinks we're coming back, and we came back from the dead. Can we just talk about quickly that the Bucks are down 3-0?
Bro, what's going on with the Bucks?
What is happening?
This is so unlike them. But I remember you were telling me that the bubble maybe is taking
effect. I think the bubble is actually taking an effect on some people.
It's a shame, though. The Bucks.
I know. And the thing is, it's like, man, if your mindset isn't right, especially, and athletes, I think, know this more than anyone. If your mindset isn't right, I don't care how talented you are.
Girl.
Yeah.
They
look defeated. Like, they look, watching yesterday's game, I was like, they look defeated. And the thing I appreciated about OG was kind of like, he's like, I don't shoot to miss. Like, it was kind of like, That's the mindset you have, right? People are like, how did you make that shot, OG? And he's like, well, I don't shoot to miss. Like, it's kind of like, it's so obvious, but it goes to what you're saying, Garcia. Mindset is everything. If he had held that ball in his hand a millisecond longer, it would have he wouldn't have, like, it was leaving the tip of his hand.
Yep.
Enough catch, shoot. It's like hot potato, like.
Girl, don't hesitate. Move in confidence.
Just do it.
This is the lesson that I think we've all learned. It's like, look, don't hesitate.
Just do
it. You see that opportunity, you take it.
Take it.
Because you only got one chance.
One shot. We had one shot.
Yep, one shot. That's it.
Yeah.
One shot, and they saved my olive oil bottle because that olive oil bottle was about to go, and like
it was
I
about to go down.
Mad, like you have no idea how pissed I was. But now we're good, and we can get to game 4. This is what I will be wearing from now until the end of this game, where we better damn well win. And now we can talk about our topic.
I'm hoping the same prayer group that
I need to join this prayer group
is praying tonight, because we all really want this.
We need them to
Toronto.
win. We
really need this to go right.
down.
And to think that we could have a Toronto versus Miami finals, no one thought that.
No one thought that. I mean, Miami serves the Bucks. They serve their ass.
Like, Jimmy Butler is just like, I told y'all.
I just
wanted to write us off, and I was like, listen, I appreciate the gangster, right? Like, he's like, I told y'all, we got this. So when they're about to eliminate the Bucks. So we've been in this place before.
Yes, we have.
We've been here. Remember last year we were down 2-0.
Yeah.
2-0, and we had to literally win games, especially on the road. The bubble is interesting because you're right that we don't have fans, we don't have that push, but it's all about your mindset. You need to go in as a champion, and I have to give it to Kyle Lowry. Yeah. Kyle took that team on his back. He played 46 minutes.
That's insane.
That's
46. He took a breather to have a water. Okay,
he went right back on the field.
Yeah,
and went right back. Because he knew he had to win. We had to win.
This game.
Again,
I don't care what it takes.
Yeah, his mindset was on fire. His mindset was like, we are winning.
It's going to take sitting Pascal and having him come off the bench. Like, I'm sorry, Pascal needs to come off the bench.
Pascal, he's useless right now.
It's a shame to see what's going on with him right now.
It's his mindset. Garcia, I'm with you. Mindset. I think his mindset is such that he just, I think without the fans, he's having a really difficult time, right? Where some people can go in, drill in, and be their mindset. I think Pascal probably needs that additional validation from the fans, and you don't have that, right? It's all you. So I'm not saying to keep him on the bench. I'm saying just like when they did that to DeMar one time, they had to put him on the bench and they took him off the bench. So I think maybe they change it up and give him an opportunity to see something differently, because it's all about perspective. Yeah. When he's on the bench, he's going to see it very differently. He's going to see the game differently than when he's on the court. And even if it's the first 3 minutes and then you sub him in, but I personally think that there needs to be a lineup change and Pascal needs to come off the bench.
I think so. You have such amazing players that are on the bench. They need to use them.
Yeah, because some of
them,
the young bloods, when they go out on the court and they start playing, it's like, oh, shoot. Explosion.
Because they're not being affected by the bubble at all.
No, because they just want to play.
Because they want to win.
They're like, hell, I want to get on there.
Like, anyone who's experiencing any difficulties, I get it. Yeah, the playing in a bubble and having that validation of having fans around you.
And I do agree with the change of perspective. He does need a reframe.
Right. And because of that, he should just take a seat and chill. Let others that actually have a better mindset
and become inspired by the other ones that are killing it.
Absolutely.
No offense, but mindset or not, you're there to win. There's a job to be done. People going to the fight in Iraq, they can't sit there and be like, well, they put unfortunately, they have to put their issues aside and just get at it. Because at the end of the day, a job has to be done.
Your job. Because the country's depending on it.
You know? And Toronto's depending on this win.
And my olive oil water.
Double champions. Yeah, double champions through the COVID situation. I mean, that's a story to be told.
It's a great story.
So.
And they'll get more money. So segueing into our
I was like, yeah.
Right? Money versus power. Let's be clear, they get more money, right? And they become they create a power dynamic for themselves within the NBA, right? If the Raptors can actually pull this out, come back from 2 down, get to the NBA Finals, win over Miami, go and face whoever in the Western Conference and win that, there is a story there, regardless of the fact that they are and still are the champions. People were counting them out. In the beginning of the season, they were counted out.
Yeah.
It was said that some were saying that if they made 7th seed, they'd be lucky, and some didn't even have them making the playoffs at all. And so there will be a shift, right? There's a power shift that will happen because they will actually have to take them seriously because, our win has an asterisk, right?
That's right.
You won because of Kawhi, asterisk.
Right.
You guys can't win by yourselves.
Yeah.
You guys can't even really make it out in the playoffs by yourselves because you guys don't have a legitimate superstar. So I think there will be a power shift and a dynamic. And if that does happen, you will see the respect that the Raptors will get
finally
next season, especially because the number 1 Bucks would have lost in the second round. I think it's 0 to 139 or 193 or some ridiculous number. No team has come back from being down 0-3, right? Like
True.
In the history of the playoffs. So again, don't count them out. If the Bucks have it in them and they've got some super extra, again, somebody's praying for them, then absolutely they might be able to win 4 in a row, right? The Raptors had to win 4 games to beat them last year, but they weren't down 0-3. They were down 0-2. So I think anything is possible. But the story, if the Raptors make it all the way and win the championship, the power dynamic will be very different in the NBA next year, and people will willingly want to come here to work for Coach of the Year and hopefully NBA champions.
Yes.
I'm putting on my prayer list. We have to win again.
It is so, when you look at the economical reasons this is why sports teams want to win in their cities. It's actually really good for the economy.
Everybody
it's good
wins.
For the culture. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
The small pop and shop places that have a license to sell, legally Raptors, or the illegal places.
They're trying to get their coins.
Y'all gotta get our coins.
They're trying to get their coins. Let them do what they need to do.
All of these things, there's a chance for them to make money.
And money is important. It's necessities.
Listen, money, as we were talking about it, money gives you options.
Correct.
Yes.
It gives you big options.
Yes. You know what? And it's funny.
Yes.
So we did talk about what we were going to talk about today. And I was taking notes on some stuff because in my always constantly, obviously working on mindset, I came across a chapter where it's all talking about money.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things that, what does money mean? And I know that we used one of my favorite clips from one of my favorite movies, Scarface. And this is just a part of our culture.
It is.
As Black people. Scarface is a movie.
Scarface is life.
It's life. And it shows oppressed, an oppressed person coming, from a life of crime. And even though it is through crime, they get to the very top of the ladder. And he had a philosophy, and it's a philosophy that ever since I saw the film as a child, which children should not be watching Scarface. I grew up in a time.
We're West Indian. We watch everything.
We grew up in a time when parents weren't like they are. Parents now are very kind of helicopter. My parents were like, please just turn on the TV, watch whatever you want, just leave me alone. So we grew up in a great household where we watched a lot of mafia films as kids. And the one thing that Tony Montana always said was, first you get the money, then you get the women, and then you get the power. So,
but first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. Because women don't want you without no power.
That's it. Exactly. That's so true.
Very true.
Very true. We were discussing that amongst ourselves earlier. So, you know, this idea of, you know, like money and what money can bring. And, you know, words that came up to me and I wrote it down is money means choice. It means opportunities. It means power. It means spiritual energy. It means an indication of how many people you can help or the amount of people that you have helped. You know, like money stands for a lot of good. And I know that in our society, especially in our culture, it's been taught that, you know, oh, the root of evil is money. Is money, and you know, only criminals should, you know, have money because, you know, they're too rich. They must be doing something bad, you know, and it's just money has a bad name. And I'm just like, no, we're not looking at it the right way.
No, we're not. Because it's funny, you know, what you said, money having a bad name. Money is so bad, yet you can't breathe without it. Like, how are you supposed to even get out of your bed? You need money. Right? You can't even go to Dollarama.
Well, let's look at it like this, right? Right now, we are using our cell phones.
Okay.
We are using Wi-Fi, which is not free. You know, we're paying for it. We all live in homes, and we have to pay
for that
for our internet. And I just paid my phone bill yesterday. So I definitely know that my phone only works because TELUS gets paid.
That's it. You can't move or breathe without money.
I mean, access.
It's a necessity.
We're not in the world where we barter, right? No. Like money replaced the bartering system. And it would be nice to be in a world where I could barter. I could barter with my landlord, okay? So I didn't have to give her any money. Don't have more money, right? But that's not the reality of the world we live in. And when we look at it, you know, I've always said, you know, money is a necessity, absolutely. And it's, you know, it is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money. The love of money.
That's it.
The glorification of money. This desire that you can't have enough money. There are people who believe you can't have enough money, and unfortunately, they then do things to acquire money which are illegal and put themselves and others in jeopardy. But the reality is, it is the love of money that is evil. Money gives people power, good or bad.
That's it.
And one of these people, bad, that it gave power is someone like Donald Trump. Donald Trump would not be, and most politicians, it is very rare. Even like when we look at Obama, Obama could not be president if he wasn't able to raise the funds that he needed to raise in order to run the race that he needed to run, right? All of it is required in order to even to put yourself in that position of power.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how smart you are. There are tons of, like, you know,
smart
people that should be running for prime minister. Amazing, smart, genius people. And they will never be prime minister simply because they do not have $100 million to run a campaign.
Well, we also have with Kanye. He was able to stand up and say, well, I'm running for president. Why? Because he's a billionaire, so he can do whatever he wants. And that's the thing, too. Like you were saying, because money is the reason why money is the root of all evil. Like, look at Benzo. He's like worth, what, $200 billion, something crazy like that.
Right.
And he's still hungry for money. You're worth 200 billion with a B, and you still want more.
And you need more.
And
I like to call that, that's hoarding money, which
hoarding.
I also believe is somewhat a root of evil, because, you know, he's never going to use all that money.
Hell no.
Like, he will never use all that money. His children's children will.
And children.
Yes. They're not going to use this money.
No, he'll never be brought.
The idea, you know, like, I think it was Bob Marley that said that, you know, if you can't help someone else, then, you know, what is your purpose in life? What are you doing?
Right.
And I'm not saying that every rich person should get up and just give people money.
No.
But it's like, what charities can I give to today? Who needs a job? You know, maybe I should hire another assistant. You know, maybe I should hire you know, someone to do my accounting? How can I stimulate the economy? You know, it's not just all about, I have all this money and now I'm going to hoard it and keep it in a bank or some investment thing somewhere. Because the truth is that everyone needs money. And, you know, I know we talked about this idea of, you know, an even playing field. If everyone got $100 million when they were born, a lot of problems would be eliminated. Now, unless you go out and you take your 100 million and spend it like an idiot. But for the most part, 100 million should keep you living a very decent life.
Even 1 million, even 1 million, because as 45 likes to say, his father gave him a measly
$1 million.
He used the word measly $1 million loan. Wow. And clearly that $1 million loan helped him to create a career and a level of wealth.
Especially back in those days when $1 million was actually a lot of money.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, we talked about, you know, because I talk about there are people with power that don't have any money, and therefore their power is limited. There are chiefs right now, First Nation chiefs, Indigenous chiefs, who are chiefs, right? Which is almost like presidents of their tribe. And they are powerful within their own right. And quite frankly, they're probably more knowledgeable than any of the people in our, you know, offices right now, right? They're probably more knowledgeable and smarter than some of these people, but because there's no money behind them, that power is limited. And I think, you know, a lot of people, you know, they can say you can have the power without the money. Yeah, but how far? How far the power take you?
You know,
you might get like up the street.
Yeah. You know what it's like?
And then that's it.
It's like, and I remember we've talked about this a lot of times where, you know, I think it was Drake who said, you know, once you start getting into the $10 million mark,
actually
of earnings,
million.
And it's even when you start getting into, let's say you used to make $50,000 a year.
Right.
Even when you start getting into the 90, 100K, 150, 200,000, you're going to realize your circles sort of change.
People you talk to change.
Your
lifestyle changes.
People who are not interested in you as a human being are now interested in you. You're getting different opportunities and phone calls based on the fact that you're making even a bit more money.
That's it.
Like we're talking not even lots. We're talking you're making an extra 20K.
Right.
And it's changing your life.
It's true.
Money is access. You know, like when you have that money, when you have that money and I'm like, hey, my best friend who's a brain surgeon, what's up? Oh, nothing. Drake was just here. Oh, that's cool. Hey, by the way, do you want to come to Drake's birthday party with me?
Sure,
you know, he invited me and I have a +1. How about you come? Okay, cool. You know, that stuff doesn't happen when you are making $5
when you're poor.
a month. That stuff doesn't happen.
No.
It's very if it happens, it's because you had another way of access.
Right.
Which is still through some sort of money connection.
Sure.
Like a rich relative or something.
So it's so funny you say that because, again, it makes me think of Scarface. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women, right? And the reality is women often get access and money through being attractive, right? Being an attractive woman puts you in certain rooms to allow you to engage with certain people to also help you. And this is not golding. I think a lot of people think about the idea, well, women do this for gold digging. No. It's the same. It's a different way of getting through the door.
That's it.
If you're with someone with money and power, it gets you through certain doors and gets you certain access. And like you said, introduced to certain people to help rise you through the ranks as well. And I've told my daughter, it isn't necessarily what you know, it's who you know. So start getting to know people. Get to know people.
That is what it is. I think people have to start realizing, I mean, yes, I am a believer in education.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Oh, of course.
Like that's what we talk about on here all the time.
Yes.
You know, because being attractive, once you attract people to you, you need to keep them there. And if there's idiocy behind the beauty, then
the beauty is gone.
You're done.
But
definitely, I can think of many times in life where it was like, yeah, you know what? If I didn't dress right, that certain opportunity, if I didn't make sure that I was on point with my outfit, you know, that person wouldn't have come up and said, I like your dress. And then that conversation starts.
And you needed money to buy that dress.
How are you gonna buy the dress without money? You're gonna stand outside Hudson Bay and hope that they'll feel sorry for you and throw the dress at you?
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Even if you go to Goodwill.
Being attractive is not really cheap. Even for the pretty ones. I mean, look at the Kardashians, right?
Like, they're big money to look the way they
$800,000
look.
is the number that's being thrown.
That's what I
heard.
Right
for Khloe Kardashian's face and body worth of work.
Imagine the maintenance.
Yeah, and the maintenance.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm a 90s girl. Did you just say?
I'm a 90s girl. $100,000 Khloe Kardashian.
$800,000?
Yes. On her body and face. Now, this could include, I don't know if it includes also personal training but surgeon work. Because we have seen the evolution.
We saw the transformation. We saw the transformation.
She's gotten a lot of stuff done. And even women that can't afford it and that are young, like I'm hearing about 25-year-olds that will do vlogs and they will openly say, yeah, I get Botox done once a month. They're like, this is why I have this nice cheekbone. This is why my chin, my face was too wide. So I went in and I got my work done and I got this. And these are 25-year-olds.
Yeah, because they know. How many vloggers do you guys watch that are fat and not caring with themselves and not cute? None. You're going to watch the ones that are attractive. When you go into the club and you have on your nice outfit and there's another girl that looks fine, but who do you think the man's going to invite into VIP?
It's the Dolce & Gabbana girl.
Every time we dressed up right to go to VIP.
Oh yeah, I've never had to pay to go into VIP ever in my life. Going to the club was like, oh, I want those two in my booth. It's like, oh, okay.
And it's money. Money is access, and we're gonna and it's not even. And it's so funny. It's like money is access to power. You could almost put them all together because the reality is, you know, Khloe Kardashian. Even as astounding as it is to think that if she did spend $800,000. That's only made her more money.
It's an investment.
Yeah, her business as a businesswoman, take away all the stuff, but whatever. Mm-hmm. As a businesswoman, she's done very well for herself.
Quite.
Because she influences other women to buy her stuff. And if that means investing $100,000, $300,000, $800,000 into how she looks to influence everybody else, it was well worth it.
Her jean company, Good American, is selling off the racks.
Yeah, like apparently they can't keep it on the racks.
People are buying Good American like nobody's business.
So, like we were saying with the idea of money, for me, I believe money is power. Money is choice.
Money is a necessity.
For instance, if I have money, let's say you're my favorite singer in the world, right? Most of my favorite singers are dead. But let's say, my favorite singer is, I don't know, Jason Derulo.
What? Girl,
I don't know.
Let's not even do that.
So let's say I love SZA. Let's say a woman.
So Wonder or
SZA,
somebody,
right? Okay, let's say SZA. I love her, right? And I'm rich, and I think her music is amazing. Guess what I have to do to gain access to her? I just
give her money.
$100,000, $200,000 to sing at my birthday party.
Celebrities do all the time. Look at Drake.
People
Drake
do all the time.
sings the bar mitzvahs every other day.
Yeah,
why? Because these people can afford to have Drake come and sing at their daughter's bar mitzvah.
Yeah, Mariah Carey, all of these guys, they do private gigs for $200,000, $500,000. Meaning, if you're a super fan and you love them and you're rich, all you got to do is sign a check. and Mariah will come to your house. She will sing for you. She will probably do a little sign meet and greet with all your guests. You will meet her. She will love you too because you're paying her.
You know what's gonna happen now? You're gonna have a whole bunch of people starting a GoFundMe page.
Mariah,
so go and
if you get money off of this show,
girl,
10%
comes to not your typical girl talk.
So,
but it's so right, because then that opens up doors. So imagine you're that person who has, or that kid at the bar mitzvah who's having Drake at your party. You're telling your friends Drake's coming to the party. Their parents are hearing. Their parents are powerful. You now have a bunch of powerful people all in the room. There are amazing things that happen when people with power and money come together. They collude to have people win the U.S. election, but that's another story altogether.
Girl,
right? Things happen when you put people with money and power in a room. Power alone or money alone does not work. No. You can have power with no money, and you can actually have money with no power.
True.
There are people right now who have money who don't have the power. You put them together because if you use your money in the right way to give you access, and that's what it's about, give you access to the right people, to be in the right rooms, to help make the right decisions, that is what happens. Donald Trump would not be president of the United States if his family did not have money. But he also surrounded himself with people, even if he didn't have the power, he surrounded himself enough with people who had money and power to give him the ultimate power that he wanted, right? And I think there is this, again, this tie, and in our community especially, we hear it all the time. Money is evil. You're not gonna love money, and people just love money and money. Like,
wanty, beggy, and all this.
Yeah, wanty, can't get you, and get you, no wanty, right? Like, it's all about these negative things, but the reality is none of us would be sitting here, like Garcia said in the beginning, even doing the show if it wasn't money. Okay, because the last time I checked, Freedom Mobile isn't just looking at my pretty face and saying we're going to give her free phone service for a year. Like, I don't go in and say, let me barter, and this one, you're going to hold on to this for a year. I'm going to come back in a year, and you're going to give, like, they want their money.
They want their cash.
Girl, they want their money.
And they're entitled to it because they're giving you a service. And you need that service, so you got to pay for it.
But now,
money's power, man. Money is a need, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
The question, though, is, and we talked about it, I'm looking at the time, was, are people selling their soul for money?
Oh, yeah.
When we look at,
absolutely,
when we look at the money alone, because if you look at the money alone, like I said, to me, money without some level of power, and I'm not talking about power, you're the president of the United States power, but some level of power to make whatever changes you require to be made to live your best life.
Right.
And I look, I look at, I make jokes all the time, and I'm going to say it and I feel no way. It's been hard in these streets, right? So listen, OnlyFans was like broken, okay? People were running on, I heard people were getting $10,000 a month checks on OnlyFans. A lot of people didn't even know what OnlyFans was until Savage, because I didn't know what an OnlyFans was. I was like, OnlyFans, what the hell's that? Then, Beyonce drops it in Savage. COVID happens, okay? And people needed to make some cash, right? Like the ladies of the night. So OnlyFans, and I'm 2 seconds away from creating my OnlyFans page. It's hard. These books aren't selling like they're supposed to, and I've got to try to deal with this business. So listen, 2 seconds away from my OnlyFans page. Check me out. I'll let people know if I have my OnlyFans page. Okay? However, I say that to say, and I'm joking, everyone. Maybe. Maybe I'm joking. Okay, I want to check. But I say that to say, in these times where we've got the internet and social media and all of these different things, and we see how the generations have changed, and we see how people are now almost selling them, like literally selling themselves. And I mean, prostitution's been around since, Adam and Eve, right? It's the oldest, it literally is the oldest profession that there is. But we look now that everybody is valuing money so much. Are they overvaluing money that they're undervaluing other aspects of their life, like an education, like self-worth, like all of those things to make the money.
Yeah.
They're all about money because, they see things online. They see that, the Kylie Jenner, they see the Kardashians, they see Monica, they see all these beautiful women. And no offense, but, their photos just show them on glamorous yachts and posing in beautiful clothes.
Curated accounts.
Everything is curated. So no one really sees, them taking their kids to school or them with jogging pants and a t-shirt
Them
on.
wondering where the next paycheck's going to come from.
Yeah, their worry level and where they're at. They just see the glamour side and they forget education, forget this, forget that. They just want that money and they're willing to sell their soul for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that people, and I think this is why we're in this moment in time right now, people were so busy, like, need to make money. And then COVID hit. And then people realized, I've been working myself to the bone and I don't even have 3 months worth of living money saved.
Yeah.
What have I actually been doing?
They've been
like,
spending.
do I know who I am? What are my values? Do I have integrity? Because if I had integrity, I wouldn't have done this job for this many years and not work for what I'm worth. So I think at the same time, people are just now sort of waking up and saying, oh, I'm worth more than what I'm getting paid for.
They are.
I need to make more money because I can barely live.
Well, yeah, because like you said, 3 months and they didn't have 3 months worth of cash to even hold them over.
And
like,
technically, right, that's what all the insiders say. They're like, you should always have 3 to 6 months worth of living money. Because, listen, this pandemic thing, this is not going to be the last pandemic on the planet.
No, let me know.
Actually, every 5 years, something happens that heavily affects our economy.
Yeah.
So it could be a virus. It could be
another recession.
We're headed there.
Please, Lord, terrorist
attack.
Like, all of these things happen, and we don't know what is happening. We call this uncertain times, but it's actually always been uncertain times.
Since day one. Thank you for clearing that up.
Nothing has ever been sure. No job is sure.
No
business is sure. So with that now being very apparent and it's become so real, people are now just like, look, man, I will look for alternative ways of making money. And if that means OnlyFans, if that means
sign me up.
Interesting Instagram accounts, if that means I'm going to share my entire life experience on YouTube because I can get some sponsorship money, then so be it.
Oh yeah.
And when I look at survival, the idea of survival, that's what humans do naturally, right? Our nature is to survive. If a car is driving in front of you, even if you're suicidal, you're going to get the urge to get out of the way. Right? So we are survivors by nature.
That's it.
And we're not going to sit there and starve. We're not going to watch our children starve.
No.
And we're definitely, like, if we know of a way, if someone's like, you know what, I'm attractive, I could be making $100 somehow, some way.
Yeah, you could be like, yo, you know what, I'm gonna make this drop for this guy and see if I can get some cash out of this. Like,
and
I'm
not condoning it.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to sit on a chair of privilege and say that, oh, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just get an education? Some people
need money to get an education.
Right.
Money.
That's hard. And they raise the tuition at York University. Sorry, like I'm so ranting about that. Okay.
Right? Like, so if you're privileged enough to pivot your business, if you're privileged enough to go back to school, I'm so happy for you, and I'm glad that you're doing something to help yourself. But some people have no choice because at the end of the day, money is power, but money also means food.
Means shelter
and heat.
Shelter. A hot shower, right? The ability thank you. The ability to not get shot being out in these streets, right? Like it's so many things that when we think about it and we look at, and it's going to lead into next week's topic because we're going to talk about, basically, the ultimate head start is systemic oppression.
Right.
But we look at how the fact that the government literally prints money. Serve.
Yeah. It's not
That's
even
the
about
government
competing.
literally printing money.
Girl,
Like,
yeah.
literally printing money. Like the government literally prints money.
Right.
And so the socialist in me goes, we live in a world that there should be no poverty, but there is.
Right.
Why? Why? Because people understand that money means power. It's not the opposite. Personally, my direction. Yes, there's the power is money camp, and I'm happy for them. Stay over there in your camp. But my camp is money is. This is why you don't have a society where every newborn child is getting $100,000, going in. Like, this is why, because it would even a playing field. And not even a playing field when we have a power structure.
Right.
This is why you have this, right? This is why you got the people like the Jeff Bezos that are at the
100%.
tip. And then it comes down to the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
You cannot have a society and it doesn't work. That's how systemic oppression works. And again, we'll talk more about it next time. But it doesn't work if everybody is like that.
Right.
And money gives you that power so you can have a society like that.
That's it.
And I think if people open up their minds and realize how quick the government was to make sure that the CERB wasn't to make sure that you could eat. The CERB was to keep the economy going.
That's all it's
Let's
for.
just be clear. You needed to buy groceries to put into the pockets of the people who own the grocery store.
That's it.
Also are on the boards of certain things to make certain power work, right? That's why that happened.
Johnson and Procter and Gamble and all these.
They need their lifestyle.
They also have head offices where people need to be paid.
And they have their lifestyle.
Yeah.
They still want to live it during the COVID crisis.
Yeah.
So, we need to really think. And listen, I do not advocate just going out there and doing illegal crime for money. I'm not advocating that. But what we are saying is that, or at least what I am saying is that people understand that money is survival. We need to survive. You need to eat. You need a roof over your head. You want to sleep. Something like all of these things are required. And so a lot of people want access. And they understand. How many briberies do you know that people bribe people all the time? Lobbyists in the States, it's just bribery.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like people, it's a fancy, being a lobbyist is a fancy name for bribery.
Thank you.
Lobbyists are lobbying you and giving you a donation to your campaign in order to get a favor.
Yeah,
that's bribery. But we call it, do you understand the power of that? That something that's really illegal has gotten a fancy name called lobbying. You're a lobbyist, okay? Because they understand the power that money brings.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
that is it.
When you have money, as I always say, anyone that's ever won Powerball in the US and they're winning like $300 million, I am sure their phone is ringing off the hook once their name is released to the public. People are calling. And not
change your phone number. I'm changing mine. The first moment.
Worried. So they're going to come and knock on your door. They're going to find you.
It's not only people begging for money. It's not going to be your long lost cousins. By the way,
they will
we
call.
know all our cousins, so don't even try. But, but it will be people that are actually already rich who want to invest.
Illuminati.
Warren Buffett is now going to take that meeting
They're
with
gonna
you.
call you.
Yeah, Jay-Z and Bay are ready to sit with you when you have that money. Money is access. I can't even. I look at it like this. Costco is a perfect example of how money is.
Yes, girl.
Can't even go through the front door without that card.
Pay $60 a month. Not saying me, but people pay $60 a month so they can go spend more money in a big warehouse. Think about
for
that.
A quote unquote lesser price.
This is the king method, business method for capitalism.
Yeah.
You pay a monthly fee,
yearly fee,
to go shop for stuff.
Yes. That
you could easily go to the supermarket across the street. But no, you'd rather wait in a long line, especially now with the COVID situation. You're waiting in long lines going around the block to buy more stuff when you're already paying $60, $80 a month. Like, if when you think about that, like, logically, you're like, that's insane. People do
insane.
this,
but you know, there's some good sales sometimes.
What the thing is that people
Damn.
love that access, because access also means privilege, as we
It
always talk about. And
does.
the idea that, oh, look at me, I am maybe 2% of the community that can afford to go to Costco and buy jumbo items of things, and I don't have to go into hustle and bustle with all the other people.
Although Costco, one that I know of anyway, that thing is a maze.
I know.
It's always busy.
I know. But you know,
but it creates a barrier to entry, right? Like it's, and that's, and it, I always, when you brought that up, I was like, it's so true. Like it's for me, it's like, I always laugh and say, I don't stand in lines to go spend my money, other than the grocery store, which because of COVID, but I don't go, like when I see people standing at the Apple store when there's a new Apple release, I'm like, you're standing for the privilege of spending your money to give people more money. Like, I don't understand that, but money creates access, right? Money can be a barrier to entry, and it can be an access to an open door.
True. That's it. And that's it. You know, I look at it like this, and this is some like mindset thinking, but you know, money and that transaction, money being energy, money being spiritual, it's like a figure eight. You know what I mean? You give your money and you expect to collect something back. You know, so when you go to the Apple store, if I'm giving you $500, you better be giving me a mini iPad or something, because I didn't come here just to give you money. And that flow that's happening, you know, this is why the government gave us the CERB. They had to keep the money flowing.
Absolutely.
Once money stops, that's density and energy, and there's no flow. And then we start to see, I mean, there is a recession right now, but the recession could be a lot worse if people weren't getting a few dollars, you know, a month, or getting some deferrals from paying certain large bills. They're just trying to keep the energy flowing. And money, although people want to say that it brings out the worst in people, it's the only way to, like Toshiba said, you know, we can't go in with our pretty faces. We can't go in with our favorite handbag and be like, hey, thanks. Thank you, Food Basics. Here's my handbag, and now I'm going to take all of these groceries. Like, they don't care. And that's not what it's about. It's about actual money. What do you guys think, actually, this idea just came to my head. What do you all think now with money being so kind of invisible? You know?
Oh my God, I was just about to talk about Bitcoin. You took it right out of my head.
We're in rapport. The idea of money not being seen. You know, the ideas of dollars,
like physical money doesn't exist.
Right. It's all electronic now. How do you guys think that affects how people look at money now?
Like listen, I'm a go to the bank, put my bank card in, get cash, and hold it in my hand person. Why? Because the more you tap, money's just going. You ever had a day that you're just out on the road? You're out on the road and you've just been out from morning till night. And of course, you're going to eat on the road. You might buy something because you're out. You might have a business meeting. You might have needed gas because you're on the road. All of that stuff. And you're just tapping. And then you tally up when you go home and you're like, what the hell? No. So I'm a person, I love physical money. I still go to the store and I still, you know, the bank, I take out money because I can see it leaving, right? Yes, right. I can see it leaving my wallet. I can take that certain amount of money. If I take $500 out of the bank, I might go to the grocery store and say, you know what, I only need $100. So I don't need to bring the extra $4. So I leave the extra $4 at home along with my card. When I have my physical card, it's very different. Like when I have because it's just like, oh, okay, this was 112, such and such. You're gonna tap. If you only have the $100, you actually would be cognizant of everything you put in your basket, right? No, I don't need this premium such and such when the selection brand is probably such good. Why would I pay $3.99 for Canada Dry when the selection brand, the same 1 liter, is 99 cents?
Exactly.
And when I actually have physical money, I personally think about that very differently than if I'm tapping, or God forbid, we're tapping with a credit card, which people still think is borrowed money, right? Like, be spending before we have it.
There are a lot of people are going to be broke and gut poor after this whole thing is over, because 90% of people still just tap their card and they're not saving nothing. So they, like you were saying, Toshiba, they'll go to the store, they'll pick up whatever and they just tap and they go about their business. And then when they go home now and they look at their phone and get that little emergency thing from their online banking, the Apple is closed because it's got no money. So it's just saving you from seeing anything in the first place. And when you do get the chance to open the app, you're in negative $2,000 or whatnot. You're broke. So I agree. Like, physical money, it's like the government's almost, I don't know. It's the way how the world's going. It's as if they want you to be broke.
No, they do want you in debt.
They want you in debt because you can't see what you're spending. They tell you, oh, it's so cool to tap, so you just want to be the in crowd and you tap.
Yeah.
But
and now with Bitcoin, which to me, like, I'm trying to learn about Bitcoin, but to me, it's invisible money. But I don't get it. Like, I don't, you know, because I can physically go and take out the Canadian dollar or the American dollar if I'm in the US, which won't be anytime soon. But I can physically take it with Bitcoin and all of that. And Bitcoin is, last I heard, it was 1 Bitcoin for 15,000 Canadian, right? That is, that is not even, like, a lot of people can't even fathom what that is. But now people are hoarding Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has created wealth for certain people.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Right? And what is the wealth coming with? Power. They're able, like, a lot of our infrastructure would not have been built without money and power.
Thank you.
For sure.
Absolutely. You will go downtown and you see it alone. Like, the banks are, like, especially along, like, the financial district, these tall buildings are everywhere. TD has like 6 buildings alone.
Yeah.
For reasons I don't know.
Yeah. But I do. And, you know, when we even, like, dial it back and people will say, oh no, you can work really hard.
No, those days are gone.
And I'm just like, you can work hard.
No, do what?
Right. But the thing is at the end of the day,
just wasting your energy.
You know, growing up in the household that we grew up in, I can definitely make a list of things where I'm like, if I didn't have money, these are the things that I wouldn't have been able to achieve.
Right.
There are many things that I've achieved in life, but I can directly say that, if I didn't have money to do this, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Point blank.
No.
That's just the way it goes. Like,
that's
you know, and again, this comes after thinking and going through your own privileges, even as a Black woman.
Yeah.
You know, I had the privilege of not having to, you know, struggle to go to school.
Right.
You know, going to school came very
easy.
naturally. It wasn't a huge thing. You know, now I wasn't as lucky as, say, Lori's kids, where she just put her kids in fake photos and tried to send, and she's rich. You know, but, you know, I didn't have to struggle as to, oh no, where is this money going to come from? When I wanted to get my first car as a teenager, it was like, that's fine, because I can get a part-time job, because, you know, like, I have access.
Because you live in a privileged country.
Right. You know, and my dad knew a business owner and they were kind enough to hire me. Like, you know, so I can look at those connections as to where, well, definitely money had something to do with why I was able to make this path.
Right.
But to sit there and say that, oh, if you have power, then you can, and I'm like, okay, but how did you get the power? You know, because we look at someone like Kim Kardashian. Right. And, you know, we talked about this, if Kim wasn't rich, she would have never have met Ray J in the first place to make that sex tape.
Yeah, her dad happened to be a very successful lawyer.
Right.
She was living in a place where she could be friends with Kim Kardashian or with Paris Hilton and became her assistant. She was a stylist for Brandy at one point.
Right.
That led her to Mr.
Right.
Ray J.
Right.
And
So,
the rest is history from there.
If the Kardashian family did not make money from Rob Kardashian, their dad, Rob Kardashian Sr.,
the Kardashian
we would not
Empire
know who
would
they
never
are.
start.
Absolutely not.
We would not know who they are. So
And it's interesting. We have a couple minutes, but it you know, because I'm still gonna, you know, rest in peace, Wakanda forever, Chadwick Boseman.
yes.
But there is a scene where the idea of Wakanda was a poor African country, right?
Mhm.
And it was kind of like, here's the leader of this poor African country, and he, you know. What they did was they created a barrier so that the outside world didn't recognize how abundant they were, right? So they knew the power that they had, right? They knew the money. They were better off with than any of the other countries.
Right.
But the outside world, why? Because they didn't know what they had. They didn't recognize their wealth. Saw him as the leader of a poor African country. And even though he was the leader, he wouldn't have had the power sitting at the table with the other nations because he comes. So imagine now we bring this to real world. There are many leaders of nations right now that will never have or rise to a level of power because they're running a poor X country, wherever part of the world that is, right? They might have had the education, rose through the ranks, got elected, did all of the things that they needed to do, but they run a poor country or a poor whatever, and so they don't have power. If you know, had the world known, okay, that Wakanda had all this money, they would look at him as a poor leader, and he would have had a voice. He would have had access. He would have had, and it wasn't until it was like, holy crap, like, okay, Wakanda, we see you. All of a sudden now you have access. Now that barrier to entry is gone because you have money. It was never the power because he was powerful with or without. You run a country. That should be powerful enough, but not when you're poor.
I mean, and this is why you look at films like, you know, if you want to look at Al Pacino films, because he's the ultimate boss. You know, you even look at films like The Godfather. The Godfather was the Godfather because he could help other people.
That's it.
Because he had power. He had money to be able to help people with their businesses stay open, have protection from competing companies. That's the reason why he was the Godfather.
He was a Robin Hood.
Yes,
he killed the other Don who was holding the neighborhood in depression. Once he killed him, he became the new Don. Everyone was throwing money at him, saying, "Yo, you're our hero." So
that, you know,
that's how the whole
his
thing
power was like on steroids at that point.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny how the world will forever change, but until the government decides to stop printing money, this is how the story will always be: she got power, or she got money, then she got power, and then her life became better. That's always gonna be the story of humanity. That
absolutely
he got a better paying job, and because he got a better paying job, he got a better role, and he met the woman of his dreams.
He lived in a better house.
Yes.
Ate better food.
Yeah.
Lived a better life.
All is better. All is better. So I'm conscious of the time because Instagram will cut us off and won't let us speak great. So we'll start our takeaway quickly.
Takeaway. So my thing here is, do what you can to take care of yourself. I believe money is power. Without money, we can't even eat. So why do we think that we can have it all without money? Get that money, get that bag.
I agree. Get them coins and be healthy about it. I mean, you know, I know that desperate times call for desperate measures, but remember all the things we said about, you know, selling. Exactly. Keep your values, but yes, get them coins responsibly.
So I agree. Money is access to power.
Yeah.
And I think we need to really recognize that power without money means absolutely nothing. And like my girl said, secure the bag, right? Like my hashtag for for 2020 was Secure the Bag 2020. Secure the bag means get the money to be able to get the access to do the things that I want to do. Like travel when the world opens up. You can't travel without money, people.
Money is
Can't
freedom.
travel.
Money is power. Money is
Can't
access.
get
Money
the
is
bathing
choice.
Money is freedom.
And before I go, Toronto versus everybody.
Yes.
I hope people will be watching the game. Game 4, Toronto versus